I'm not.
I will make sure that I get my news coverage from a reliable source.
Hey players, hey players. Good morning, players. Good morning, players. All players, hey players. Musty Marjorie, Frumpy Duck. This is incitement of an insurrection. How they suspended her without explanation. This witness wasn't shown on camera because she was underage. And a spokesperson for Mayor Jacob Fry said to the motherfucking Duck. And the mariachi band being placed outside of his house. This is Double D Momo, reporter for the Black Green News, where I'm black and the news is always accurate. Players, grab your teacup. It's time for Real Tea with Double D. Hey players, welcome to a brand new episode of the Real Tea with Double D. Of course, I am Double D and we are on the GSMC Podcasting Network. So excited to be with you all tonight to get some ooey gooey news and run down a few things and just have a good old funky time. I will let everybody know out in YouTube and Facebook land that I am recording an episode, so I'm not going to be able to talk to you in the comments, but I appreciate y'all for coming and joining. And make sure that you go and check this out, this brand new episode out on available on Apple, Spotify, and also Amazon Music. Yay! So we just got the podcast available on Amazon Music. I am so excited about that. So it will be available for you guys to listen to this full episode in probably about an hour and a half or so once I'm done recording everything. So tonight we're gonna go over a few things. It's been a news packed week, but it's also been a very emotional week. A lot of things have happened that I must say has been emotionally draining. You all, it's been really a trying week as far as emotions is concerned, and I'm hoping that everyone out there is okay and they're managing their stress by doing whatever it is that they enjoy and love. So, we got to start this off with some heavy news tonight. But first, I want to let you guys know that I have a special guest that will be joining me for this portion of the podcast. And I'm so honored and blessed that she decided to come and join me. She is my very good friend, TP, and she's going to help me run this down. How you doing, TP?
I'm absolutely fabulous. How are you today? I'm glad you have me on your show.
So excited to have you on. I really appreciate you saying yes and coming and talking about this with me and running this down with my players. And I'm sure they're going to enjoy our conversation just as much as I enjoy every time we talk. So,
Absolutely.
So tell me a little about yourself, TP.
Well, actually, I co-host a podcast. I don't have a show by myself. You're pretty brave to kind of be flying solo alone on here, but co-host a podcast called She Said, She Said. We're actually on all the streaming platforms, I believe. I hosted with one of my girlfriends where we talk about everything and anything and all the ish that goes in between. That's kind of our tagline. And it's really a fun time with laughs and drinks and not nearly as serious as the topic that we're going to cover today. And I'm also the owner of Caged Urban Couture, which is the home of the Thick Girl Gang. We recently formed a body positivity brand and just let people know that with all the things going on in the world today, you did not wake up to hate your thighs. So
I love it.
that's me in
I
a
love
nutshell.
I love it. That is completely awesome. I love the thing about the thighs. Don't hate your thighs, honey. You
Don't
got
hate
to
them.
love them thighs. Do not.
Absolutely.
And look, I don't even have any thick thighs. I've always been called chicken legs, and I really always wished I had some thighs. But that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll work
That's
with what I
okay.
got.
That's okay. That's your business. That's your business.
Exactly. Exactly. So, you guys, again, TP, welcome to the show. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining us, and we're gonna jump right into it.
Yeah,
So,
I want to say thank you, for showcasing this issue on your platform because social media definitely changes things. So I don't think people understand that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I believe in this story here, social media definitely played a role in actually getting this young man, actually getting him back to his mom and his family at least identified. We're going to be speaking about Jelani Day tonight, you all. If you all don't know, Jelani Day actually was missing ever since August the 25th. And it's such a sad case, you all. I really hated hearing about this, about him being missing for this long, and then it was not made mainstream stream media. It was really disheartening to me to hear that. So on August the 25th, his professor actually reported him missing. Jelani Day was a graduate student. He actually graduated from Alabama A&M, and so he was in graduate school. And his professor reported him missing. And a couple of days later, his vehicle was actually found, I believe, at some type of park or some sort. So no, excuse me. His vehicle was found 2 days later in a wooded area near where a body was discovered, and that was miles away from where he was last seen. So the LaSalle County Coroner's Office actually had this body from that day all the way up until Tuesday, where they just identified Jelani Day, and his records came back and everything, and they said identified him as deceased. But I'm going to back this train up again. I'm going to backpedal and pussy pop because I'm getting ahead of myself here. So during this time, there was no mainstream coverage of him. There was absolutely none out there. There was just a few little snippets on the internet. I believe a couple of little news channels may have covered it, local news in that area, which was Illinois, but there was nothing out there like that. Just big news. So, but because we're all hearing about Gabby Petito, who was missing. Everybody's hearing about Gabby Petito, but no one is hearing about Jelani Day. So Jelani Day's mom actually went onto a local news station and she poured out her heart. And I really want you all to hear what she had to say.
This has resonated with so many people who've come across your story online. I wonder what it means to know that millions of people have read about Jelani and tens of thousands of people have shared his story in hopes of finding him. What does that mean to you?
That means a lot to me. The support that we have received from people all around the world, or people that I don't even know, that care enough to want to share just in case that somebody sees Jelani, or just in case somebody knows something. That really means a lot to me. That overwhelms me at times because this is, like I said, I can't, I just wanted everybody to feel like that this was their child, that this was their son, because I never thought that I would be walking these shoes. This is not something that I woke up on that Wednesday and was like, I was ready for. I wasn't ready for it.
You're doing a valiant job of being brave and being loud, but I know inside, every time the phone rings at this point, it could be, the best news or the worst news. And I know that it is so hard to come out here and talk about this, but I appreciate you sharing more about your son so more people know about the situation. And if anyone is out there, I know they can call Bloomington, Illinois Police Department or get in contact if they think they have valuable information.
They can. I also have I've hired a private investigator from JAB Professional Services. They can contact him. We've provided a phone number for him online, as well as his email address, because if no one feels comfortable with talking to the police, I have that investigator that you can talk to. I just want somebody to speak up, because somebody knows something or they seen something, and I just want them to say something because I want
Absolutely.
Jelani to come back home.
Carmen Bolden, thank you so much for your generosity to be here tonight. I really appreciate it. We're sending you and your family the very, very best.
Well, I thank you for allowing me to be here. I thank you for this opportunity because I was very frustrated with the fact that Jelani hadn't been getting the coverage. Jelani's been missing for 24 days. And like I said, it seems like the effort to find him has slacked down. And I know about Gabby, the missing girl, and
Right.
she's been missing for 2 days, and her face is plastered everywhere, and the FBI is involved. And I do not understand why Jelani doesn't get that same coverage. Jelani doesn't get that same attention, because just like Gabby is important, and I can sit in this seat and say I know what her mother is feeling like because she wants her child back. I want my child back too. And I want them to look for my child like they're looking for her. He is not a nobody. He is somebody, and I want him to come back home. I want them to give my son the same attention. And it makes me mad because this young white girl is getting that attention, and my young black son is not.
I understand. Boy, Carmen, I wish I had the words, and boy, don't we wish we had some answers or a solution, but I think you getting out there, spreading your message, showing Jelani's face to talk about him wanting to be Dr. Day, that really resonates. I wish I could give you a hug in person, but in the meantime, again, we're sending you all the very best. Thank you.
That's just so heart-wrenching. That's just so heart-wrenching to hear her say that. And you got to know as a parent to see other missing people get more attention. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. See other people get more attention than what your son is getting, and wondering, why is that? Why is my child not worthy enough to get attention? My child is a college student. My child is doing the right thing. And my child has done everything right. And he's not getting the attention that he deserves so that we can try and find him. So after that clip of her went viral, people started talking about this on social media more. Actually, on TikTok, Lizzo actually reposted a TikTok about Jelani, and that's what opened the floodgates of people talking about Jelani, giving him the attention that he deserved to try to locate Jelani and find out where he was. Well, come to find out, all that time, LaSalle County Coroner's Office actually had Jelani Day in their possession. They said that that he was found. Oh man, I'm so sad about this. He was found in a body of water, and they said that they could not automatically find a cause of death for Jelani, and they were having to identify him by his dental records. And they also sent out for DNA, and they also sent out for a toxicology. So they actually came out with the news yesterday that Jelani Day was found, and as of right now, we do not have a cause of death. My heart grieves for that mother. And at this time, I would like to send my condolences out to her and her family, and all of Jelani's friends, because they were actively looking for Jelani. His friends were actively looking for him. But, they had him the entire time, the LaSalle County Coroner's Office. So as we talk about this, You know, we have to discuss why little white girls or white women get more attention when it comes down to missing than people of color. That is a question that has been posed all week, is why do white women get more attention than people of color? And honestly, Joy Reid talked about this so wonderfully. And also, I have a clip here that I wanted to play you all by Derica Wilson, who is the co-founder of the Black and Missing Foundation. And I want you all to listen what she has to say about the missing white woman syndrome.
This situation happens, so many years where there's this media obsession for, the missing white woman. First and foremost, my heart goes out to her family. No family should ever have to experience this. But there's a lot of Gabby Petitos in the minority community. We're not trying to dishonor any community. We're just trying to even the playing field. Because missing persons is not a Black issue. It's not a white issue. It's an American issue.
Treatment that they're giving to this young white girl is not being the same treatment that they're giving to my young Black son. I'm angry about it, and I want that same treatment for my son.
There's this term often used, a phrase, missing white woman syndrome. Unless you're fairly attractive, young, blonde hair, blue eyes, your cases are just not sensational enough. It tells us that our lives are not valued and that we don't matter and that they are not willing to look for us. We can call out, Chandra Levy, Lacey Peterson, Natalie Holloway, Gabby Petito, but how many people know Deidre Reed, Keisha Jacobs, Akil Eggleston? No one knows those names, and we have to change that narrative. When as a child, the kids are being classified as runaways. Runaways are not receiving an Amber Alert. There's no sense of urgency when it comes to runaways. Then we have the missing adults, male or female. Their disappearance is associated with some sort of criminal activity, and it really dehumanizes the fact that this is someone's, daughter, son, husband, wife, brother, sister, their child. All the coverage that Gabby's case received, it brought on the FBI, it brought on local police jurisdictions. We can't simply get a flyer, a police report, and have our loved one on the social media platform of the news outlets. We play a part. And so if you see these flyers on social media, we encourage you not to just like it, but share it, because someone holds the keys, and we need that information to bring closure to these nightmares that these.
So, I don't, it's so disheartening to see that we as people of color don't get as much attention as white boys and white girls. And honestly, will we ever be able to crack the code on that? Why do you feel, Tara, TP, why do you feel that black little girls and black little boys and people of color don't get as much attention as white people?
Well, here's the thing. The racial disparities that we have is, it's not just with missing brown, black and brown. It's in our society, period. What happens is, like when she was saying in the video, they kind of criminalize the victims versus trying to find them. A lot of times when um, black people report their loved ones missing, they ask a series of questions that they don't ask white people. They assume, they'll turn up. They assume maybe they ran away. Maybe they're with their boyfriend. Um,
Mm-hmm.
do they run with a gang? And in reality, these black and brown girls have been trafficked, they're killed, they're being held hostage, sometimes often maybe 2 or 3 miles just from their own home. They're victims of domestic violence and their boyfriends are holding them somewhere and no one knows where they are. They've
Mm-hmm.
been abducted. And instead of, criminalizing these people who are clearly victims, we need to help the victim make it back home. So when she was saying the names, like I had a bunch of names, too. Some of the same names: Keisha Jacobs, Kimberly Arrington, Akia Eagleson, LaQuanta Riley, Donna Michelle Calloway, Abrina Mack. So many. Just boys, girls, black, brown, and they focus so hard on missing white women, and it needs to stop. And that is the media's, like the media thinks, oh, this is what's going to be news, this is what the people want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not saying that we shouldn't look for the missing white girls, but it's saying let's look for everybody that is missing. Let's use more resources on people that are missing, not just we have to resort to social media, even though social media is an incredible thing, but we have to work harder. And I mean, we're still talking about Natalie Holloway, who was a missing white girl. She was in a whole other country. And they
Mm-hmm.
went, hell and high water looking for that little girl. Lacey Peterson, hell and high water looking for that
Mm-hmm.
woman. And a lot of times the end result for when they are looking for white women, a lot of times it's their husband, boyfriend, father, that a family member, someone close to them. And they don't even think to do that. They don't even think to look closer. But for us, we're criminals.
I I agree, and that go to me. It also goes back to when a black person is killed by the police or a person of
Mm-hmm.
color, they automatically criminalize them. They're automatically looking at their record to find out what they did in their
What they
past.
did. Mm-hmm.
Versus what is happening now. You know what I'm saying? Like what caused them to get killed in this instance by this police officer, but it's always about their criminal history and what happened in their past. But when you have a white person that is killed by police or has committed some type of crime, it's always a heinous crime that you would never think that they would do. It's always mental illness. This is all, these disparities that we have it is mind-boggling because it goes into different facets of life that I just don't understand. I just don't know when we're going to get to a place where things are going to change, because here we are in 2021 having a black man that's missing, and many girls and black people that are missing. But here we are, this white woman, blonde white girl, she becomes missing, and then it's all over the news. I mean, they even had her father on Dr. Phil within a few days of her being missing, when like it goes back to what you said, like the whole time it was her partner that she was
Mm-hmm.
with. They
Mm-hmm.
actually let this guy slither through, and they're actually looking for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for him now, even though he was the last person scene with this young lady, and my condolences go out to Gabby Petito's family. I want people to also understand that when we are talking about this and we're raising comparisons between the two cases, we're not trying to be insensitive to Gabby Petito and her family, because we feel like she deserves to have
Absolutely.
people looking for her. But
Right.
like you said, they should be
We
looking
deserve
for
to look for
everyone.
right.
Keep
They
that
should be
keep
looking
that
for
same
us too.
energy. Keep that
Absolutely.
same energy. Keep that same energy. Why can't we have that same energy for everybody? Than just pouring all of those resources into one person, and then to find that Jelani Day was right under his mother's nose and right under the
Mm-hmm.
coroner's nose that entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to pose this question to you, TP, because this is something that people have talked about. Why do you feel that this young man was at the coroner's office for so long and he was not identified, and but Gabby was identified a couple of days later? Why do you feel like that is?
Well, I will say this, and I will try my best to say it this way. I know in this COVID-19 world, a lot of the government agencies are really backed up, including the coroner's office. So that may have a lot to do with why it takes longer to identify individuals, why it's taking longer for autopsies to be performed. But I feel as though it also shows that it's taking longer to perform on people of color.
Mm-hmm.
And because they found his car like 2 days after he was reported missing.
Mm-hmm.
So we spend all this time spinning our wheels looking for people that they're probably already dead. Or I mean, his mother could have gotten closure maybe sooner and been able to be looking for suspects versus just
Exactly.
his body.
Exactly. This young man's been dead this whole time. The suspect is long flown away by now.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did they not spend any energy looking for this young man, but then they dropped the ball on identifying his body, which
Right.
puts them behind on the investigation into finding him and what his steps were. They said the last place he was seen was a dispensary. So they do have that, and they have what he had on last. You mean to tell me there was absolutely nothing that they could have identified him with? Now, I'm with you on the COVID thing. And I also do want to raise this fact that he was found in a body of water and they had to identify him by his
Mm-hmm.
dental records and DNA.
Mm-hmm.
But I have questions for the coroner's office. What was he wearing? Because if you guys have been actively looking for this young man and you knew that the last place that he was seen was the dispensary, then you would have been able to say, okay, these two are the same clothes. You know what I'm saying? Maybe
His
we should
his clothes were in the car.
Okay. Oh, so his clothes are in the car. I'm sorry.
That's what makes it even crazier.
Yeah.
His clothes that he was wearing were found in the car. So you're talking about a young man that was probably abducted, stripped, robbed, and dumped in a body of water. So we're not talking about this. Oh, he maybe he didn't suffer, because I
Right.
don't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about, but when we talk about DNA, fingerprints, stuff like that, when a body has been in water, most of the time they're going to also use dental records, but they're going to also use fingernails and fingerprints. So they
Mm-hmm.
have a way to take a finger that's been bloated that has water to be able to still get the print
Mm-hmm.
off that finger. So the fact that we're talking about September 4th and September 23rd, there was no sense of urgency to find out who that young man was. And
Right.
and it's happened. I mean, think about this. When the biggest basketball star in the world, Michael Jordan, okay? And when his father was missing, all those years ago, his father went missing. His father was found and his body was at the coroner's office before they even identified him. You're talking
Mm.
about a multimillionaire still didn't get the same coverage and attention because the thing they brought up was his father got a gambling habit.
Mm-hmm.
The people probably were looking for him because he probably owed people money. Instead of, hey, my dad's missing, we need to find him. And you're
Right.
talking about somebody who had $1 million still couldn't get the correct coverage to find his missing father.
Mm.
that was
Mm-hmm.
his body was just sitting in a coroner's office.
Wow.
Because to me, if that's the case, Gabby's body to me would have been sitting there for a few weeks before they identified her.
Correct. Correct. I agree. I agree. Um, yeah, a lot of things need to change. A lot of things need to change. And I'm
But they
gonna
went hell and high water looking for that girl. Do you know there were 700 million views on the hashtag Gabby Petito on TikTok?
wow.
700 over 700 million views. Now just think about it. If we took the time to put Jelani Day, some of these other people that are missing, Daniel Robinson, you know, Keisha Jacobs, if we took the time to put their names, they become a hashtag, and on a large social media platform as TikTok, maybe we'll be able to find them as well if we're sharing that information. Find them
Right.
faster.
Right. Do you think that because Jelani had all of this media coverage that the coroner's office said, "Oh shit, we really dropped the ball. Let's go ahead and process
Yep.
this body in a day."
Yep.
That's exactly what I think happened.
Yep.
That's exactly what I think
Yep.
happened. You mean, and he had tattoos. You mean to tell me there was nothing there that you could have said, "Well, this might be this young man that they've reported missing. We might need to." I mean, it had to be something. I'm very disappointed in this case.
I believe that when you have these different agencies, they're totally disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
So and it has to go with doing why people have different with problems with, the police and coroner. That it's about training. It's about retraining and rethinking. To me, that office, the coroner's office of every state in this entire country, should be more attached to social media, the news outlets. But sometimes these are the people that are they're in their offices, looking at bodies, and this is all they see all day long. They don't watch TV. They don't interact with other people. They don't interact with anyone. So they're disconnected.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This totally disconnected. They're basically, their job is to look at these bodies, dissect them, figure out who they are, figure out how they died. They don't have time to watch TV or looking at the news, but I feel like they should, because
Yeah.
I feel like that's how they bust these cases wide open. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think I have this person on my table. I think I have that person in my drawer, that
Right.
I haven't identified. I mean, that's how they're finding these people. That's how they find the white women. That's how they're like, oh, I knew it was her because she had blonde hair. I knew it was her because she had this, like you're saying, a tattoo. So I just feel like it's all about retraining and rethinking how we're looking, because social media is a big thing. And I feel as
Mm-hmm.
though if we use it more to our advantage, I feel like it could be right up there with the science. It can help.
It
But
definitely can. I agree. I agree 100%. And I'm hoping that some things change. Now, I did want to let you all hear what Jelani Day's brother said about social media and how it played a hand in helping find his brother. So you guys check that out.
Yeah, I definitely agree. With the help of people that I knew and my friends, our family members, and people that I don't even know that have been watching the story who reached out. They all been a huge, tremendous help with us reaching out to the major platforms and bringing the attention to my brother's name so we can go ahead and bring the spotlight to him so we can get the FBI involved so that we can get the attention that he needs to somebody to look at their ring cameras. Because at first, nobody was even trying to do all that extra work, and it's not that it was like that we're asking for a lot. We're just asking for somebody to just do your job and take the time to look at the video footage of your homes, your businesses, report back to us or our private investigator. We started pubbing his name out more. We started getting more and more information that could lead us to, where he was at and what was going on.
So that was Jelani Day's brother. That's what he said about social media playing a hand in helping to locate his brother. Um,
he
you
said
all
something
this
really important.
go ahead.
He said something really important. Do your job.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
your job. Do your
Absolutely.
job. The
Absolutely.
coroner needs to do their job. The police need to do their job. They always talk about diversity, and this is a social issue that goes beyond, just looking for people of color.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, and we're talking about like a couple of people, but there's like 75,000 missing girls and women right now in
Mm-hmm.
America. That's a
Yeah.
large number considering we don't make up a large part of the population.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely. I think
75,000?
it was like 6% that were black men, but
Man,
I mean, that's crazy.
that's
That
a
is
lot.
mm-hmm.
That is a lot of people.
So we definitely need to get something done with this. I think that there needs to be some type of movement in Congress as far as when and how, these discoveries are made, how they handle it, how soon should the FBI get involved?
Right.
What are the guidelines that they have for the FBI stepping in? Because I feel like in cases like Jelani Days, the FBI should have been called in immediately. Maybe it would have expedited his mother finding him. And again, they are nearly basically a month behind on suspects with the Jelani Day, because he went missing a month ago today. So they're a month behind. It's insanity. It's insanity to me. So hopefully we'll get some traction on that. Now, before I take a break, you all, I just wanted to play you all. I want to raise awareness to another young man that is missing out of Buckeye, Arizona. He is 24 years old. He is a geologist. Now, I know you all out in podcasting land cannot see him, but you're welcome to make sure you go over to my Instagram or my Facebook, and you will be able to see a photo of Daniel. And I just wanted you all to hear the way his father speaks about him. I'm going to play the clip.
I want to quickly revisit a story we brought you last night. Daniel Robinson is a 24-year-old geologist who was last seen at the end of June in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona. His father talked to me last night about the ongoing search for his son. In terms of the petition that already has thousands of signatures, what do you hope to get the police to do?
Do their job. Do it as simple as that. Do your job. Go find my son.
That interview has been viewed hundreds of thousands of times on social media since yesterday, with people joining in to help find Daniel. Now his search and the search for another missing black man are starting to pick up traction. Jelani Day is a 25-year-old graduate student at Illinois State University in Bloomington, Illinois.
What did he say? Do your job. Exactly. Do your job.
It's so simple.
Exactly. So I'm going to post a photo of Daniel Robinson. TP, I really appreciate you joining me. This has been a very wonderful conversation. We actually went over time, but I knew we would kind of do that because I had a lot of clips. I wanted to just make sure I can give everyone full context. And I am a little rusty because I haven't recorded any of this in a week. So I've been stumbling and mumbling and jumbling it a little bit. So y'all out there in podcasting world, y'all make sure y'all bear with me. I promise when I come back after these messages, I'm going to be a whole lot better because I've warmed up. But TP, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you. And make sure you come back and join us again. And everybody out there in Facebook and YouTube world, if y'all want to listen to the rest of this, y'all come back in about an hour, load up the Real Tea with Double D, and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you, TP. And we'll be right back after these messages. Thank y'all.